Merry Christmas. Thank you for joining me at whatever point you come in. Today, I thought I would do a live, and because it's Christmas Eve, and why not? Why not? So here I am. So you may be, I'm not expecting anybody to come and join me this evening, is the truth, because you may be busy watching movies, you may be with your family, you may be with your friends, you may just be having an early night before Christmas. And you might not even be on YouTube, but I just thought I would do a live for about an hour or so, because I know that not everybody is with family or friends. For some people, Christmas is a really lonely time, especially if you're on your own, if you haven't got loved ones around you. So I thought I would do a live to keep you company. And I can see I've got somebody with me. So good evening. Good evening. Hello, Tony. Hello, my lovely. I am good. I hope you are well. Hope you're well. So, so that's what I'm doing a live. Well, my hair's all a bit of a mess. My hair's all over the place this evening. It's probably because I've had a drink. I've got a rum and coke, my favourite, with me this evening. Hello, Ali. Hello, my darling. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Hello, my lovely. So I've got myself a little drink, a rum and coke. I've also got my bottle of water, because when I have a drink, I do like then to sort of drink a good amount of water afterwards. And I've also got myself a snack, just some lentil crisps with a couple of cheese triangles. Yeah. So how's your day going, guys? How has the festive season been for you this year? And also, how has Christmas Eve been for you? Do you know what? Today I was thinking about it. I cannot believe that we are nearly at the end of 2025. Seriously, where has the year gone? Seriously. It is just bonkers, absolutely bonkers. But yeah, we are almost at the end of 2025, and and Christmas has come around again. So so how has your day been, guys? What have you been up to? Are you preparing for Christmas? Do you even celebrate Christmas? Let me know what you think, where you stand. I know Christmas is very Western tradition. It's very Christian tradition, but not everybody celebrates it. A couple of people I work with, they don't celebrate Christmas at all because of their religion. I think one is, I think she said she's Jain, like Hindu, Jain. So her main celebration for the year is Eid, or is it Diwali? I think it is. So she doesn't celebrate Christmas. She takes the time off, and she enjoys the time with, watching movies. But actually, she's gone away. She's gone away on holiday. But she says they don't do the festivities. They don't do the decorations. They don't do the presents and stuff, because of her belief and her faith. And that's absolutely fine. Each to their own. Some people don't celebrate because, if Christmas might be filled with sad memories for them. They might not have family or friends around them. But also, a few years ago, I had gone to, I was on a cruise, and I was in, I was trying to think of this earlier today to share with you, but I'm sure, I was definitely in the Canaries. I know that much. I was in the Canary Islands, and I'm pretty sure it was Madeira. Yeah, I'm sure I was in Madeira. And we went to this church, and they were saying that Madeirans, they might, and Spanish people, they may celebrate Christmas as it's like a worldwide Christian religion, but they don't. Their main Christmas is in January. It's the 6th or 7th of January. That's when they have their real festive Christmas celebrations. And I was like, oh, interesting. So I then did a little bit of research this evening when I was just trying to remember which country. I'm pretty sure it's Madeira. And did you know, guys, that there are quite a few countries that don't celebrate? They celebrate Christmas, but not on the 25th of December. They celebrate Christmas on the 6th or the 7th of January. Yeah. And according to Google, these countries are Russia, parts of Egypt, Serbia, Georgia, Ukraine, and this one I did know is Ethiopia. And the reason they celebrate their Christmas on the 6th or the 7th of January, it's because they're Orthodox or Coptic Christians. Yeah. They're Orthodox or Coptic Christians, and their calendar is they go on a slightly different calendar rather than the I think we follow the Gregorian calendar. I think it is. I stand to be corrected, but yeah, because of that, they celebrate on the 6th or 7th of January. And I know that because my brother was a Rasta, and he used to celebrate Christmas because it was Christmas, but for him the main celebrations was in January. Yeah, so I knew that Ethiopians celebrated Christmas in January, but I didn't realize that so many other countries, their main Christmas celebration is in January. Yeah. And also years ago I used to watch QVC, and there was a guy there. He used to be many years ago, he used to be the weather presenter on Good Morning on GMTV, Simon Biaggi. And I remember him saying that he was Italian, but his wife was, I think she was Scandinavian or something like that. And he said in the Scandinavian countries, they celebrate their main Christmas day, and when they have their Christmas dinner is not on the 25th of January, it's on the 24th. So today, what we class as Christmas Eve. And I always remembered that. And I remember the one year I said to my son, because to me that made sense. I was like, if you have your main Christmas dinner on Christmas Eve, on the evening of Christmas Eve, then on Christmas Day, kids can play with their toys, and they can just completely relax, and just, there's not all the fuss, with doing the Christmas dinner on Christmas Day. And I remember thinking, God, that made so much sense to me. So the one year, me and my son, we did that. And I think that was the year that he got his piano that year. And I remember I did like the main Christmas dinner on the Christmas Eve in the evening. And then on Christmas Day, he opened his presents, all his presents, including his piano. And then I remember he was up in his room, he was just completely lost in his gifts and in his piano. And he didn't have to break to come for dinner or anything like that. So I remember that. And then I remember telling a few people, and they were like, oh, that's a bit odd. It wasn't odd to me. And it's not odd to, like, you know, you Northern Europeans. But I have my good friend. She's Polish, and they celebrate. They have their main Christmas meal today. So Christmas Eve. So I spoke to her on the day before, yesterday, and she was like in the kitchen, cooking, preparing and everything. And she says, today, Christmas Eve, is when they have their main Christmas meal. Christmas is today for them. And then tomorrow, they go to church and then they just relax. And I was like, yeah, makes perfect sense. But I suppose if we're doing that on Christmas Day, then on the next day we're just relaxing. So, you know, it swings and roundabouts. So yeah, so you know, it's just interesting that different cultures, different countries, because, you know, we tend to just think that everybody celebrates Christmas on the 25th of December, and that's not everybody does, you know. So it's just interesting looking at all of these nuances. And then we have Kwanzaa. Again, a lot of the African Caribbean and a lot of the African American community, they don't have their main celebrations on Christmas Day, the 25th. Their celebrations start on the 26th, which is Boxing Day, and it runs for 12 days, the 12 days of Kwanzaa. And each day of Kwanzaa, there is a theme. So, you know, if you want to find out more, do check it out, because it's really interesting. You know, and you just focus on that particular theme for that day, and it's like around gratitude and peace and, you know, sharing and kind. It's all those good qualities. So yeah, you know, interesting. So I can see I've got a few people with me. Let's just have a look at your comments. So let's have a little look. Let's just go to the chat. So good evening, Horatio. Great to have you with us this evening, my lovely. So Tony, you've been to M&S food shopping. Very nice. You've been to Telford, and you like it down in Telford, yeah. You know, we were saying the other night that I've been to Shrewsbury. I had a good friend who used to live in Telford, but I'd never ever been shopping in Telford. But yeah, and M&S food, yes, very posh, isn't it? Very nice. Yeah, love that. And then Ali, you've been pottering indoors today. You picked out turkey joint. You picked out turkey joint up, and you've got all the trimmings. You've got that all prepared for tomorrow, and you're looking forward to it. Oh, well, thoroughly enjoy that. Thoroughly enjoy that. Ali, do you have a whole chicken, or do you just go for like a crown, or, you know, what is it that you have? You know, I'd love to know. And what are some of your trimmings? Are you having like the pigs in blankets and the stuffing, you know, and the potatoes? Yeah, do let us know. And Tony, you used to go to midnight mass. Are you not going to midnight mass anymore? Do let us know. Yeah. So I've been, so in next year, let me just have a sip of me rum and coke. Cheers, guys. Cheers. I hope you've got a drink with you. If you've got a drink, let me know what you've got. I've also got my water, because I do like to, when I've had a, you know, a drink, I do like to top it up with water. And I've got some snacks. I've got my lentil crisps. These are from Lidl. Oh my days, I love these lentil crisps. And I've got some cheese, soft cheese. And then what I do, I just like scoop a bit of my cheese on my lentil snack and have it. So excuse me. Down the hatch. So today I went to the gym. Oh my days, does my body know it? Well, actually, so, you know, I was saying, guys, the other week that I'm just committed to my fitness journey now. So I started all really well at Aquafit, and then the pool needed some repairs. So first they said it was only going to be a week, which was fine. So we had no classes for a week, so I just still went for a swim. It's been like nearly a month now. And when I spoke to them at the gym, because every time I booked it, I'd get a phone call to say, oh, it's cancelled, you know, it's not on. So I spoke to them at the gym. I was like, you know, what's going on, mate? And they've said that they thought it was going to be a quick job, but no. It is, they've now got to order a new part from Europe, and it's going to take 10 to 12 weeks for the part to come. And then they've got to arrange to fit it. So we're probably looking at Easter. And I was like, well, what are you doing in the meantime? Because the pool that we have Aquafit in, it's a special pool. It's heated and it has a floor that lowers. So they raise it up so the water is shallow, and they do like children learn to swim in that pool. And then they do like, you know, family time in that pool. And then when like we're going for Aquafit, they lower the floor so we've got more water and we can work out. But it's lovely because it's heated. Can't take the cold pool. It just really bothers my joints. So what they're saying now is, because it's gone on for so long and everybody's complaining, we want our Aquafit classes back. They're going to have it over in the main pool, which is a huge pool, but they're going to have to cordon it off and do it maybe in like, you know, the more shallower end. So they're starting that back from the 5th of January. So I've been on my app and I've booked all my sessions, because I was like, I need to, you know, like when you start enjoying something and you miss it. So I started to miss it. So we've had no Aquafit. Now that it's the school holidays, we're down to the one pool, but that pool is just packed. There's just like everybody in there, including all the kids. And I don't mind that. But when I just want to swim, I can't. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to try some of their classes, because I'm not one for doing the classes because of my joints. I find that I always get left behind and I struggle and all of that. So I don't tend to do the classes. But I thought, do you know what, Angela? Just give it a go. So I went to Pilates on Monday. My first challenge was getting down on the floor, okay? And we did have lovely yoga mats and everything, which was nice. And then she got us doing some workouts. Lord have mercy. I was like, oh my days. No, let me just rephrase that. I was quite pleased with myself that I was able to keep up with probably about 60% of the class. I was able to keep up, and I didn't quit. I felt like quitting, but I didn't quit. I just kept going. And then when it got too much for me, I just put my legs down and I just rested. But we were doing Pilates, and it's really, really slow movements, really, really slow. So you're really working the muscles intensely. Well, on Tuesday morning, my stomach muscles knew about it, because I was like, Lord mercy, my stomach muscles were like on fire, which is a good thing, because that's the area that I really want to work out. But also my leg, I think I've overworked a muscle in my leg, and my leg is really hurting. It's like the front of my thigh between my knee and my hip. Could hardly walk yesterday. It was bad. So that was Monday, and then I just went for a quick swim and a sauna and a steam. That was really nice. Yesterday I had my grandkids, so couldn't really, didn't go to the gym. But then I went back today, you know, sucker for punishment. So I went back today, and I went back to the class. Because, you know, they say if you've started working out and your muscles hurt, just keep going and it just gets easier. So I went back for more. and it wasn't any easier. I probably kept up about 40% of the time. It was hard today because my stomach muscles, my legs. But I thought, you know what? I'm just going to keep going. Just going to keep going. Um, so yeah, so did that today. Then went for a steam and saw. I didn't go for a swim because the pool was absolutely, the one pool absolutely packed with kids and their parents, which is fine. But yeah, yeah. So you know, I sound like a snob, but you know, when it's my grandkids, I don't mind. You know, so did that, but also nipped to Asda and got some saltfish because tomorrow morning I'm cooking saltfish and fried dumplings for breakfast, and then I'm taking it down. So I'm going to be up at the crack of dawn cooking that, then taking it to my son's. We're going to have saltfish for breakfast with fried dumplings, and then I like comatose on the sofa whilst my daughter-in-law cooks the dinner, and then we're going to have an early dinner, and then my son's working tomorrow, so so we're going to have an early dinner, and then I'll just like fall asleep as nannies do, watching a movie or something. So yeah, so what are you guys doing? Do share, what are you doing? How has your day been? um yeah, you've been pigs in blankets, cold meat and pickles on Boxing Day, says Ali. So Ali usually has a crown, but this year you've gone for turkey boneless joint with Italian stuffing. That sounds nice, Italian stuffing. And you'll have roasted Yorkshire puds, roast parsnip, Brussels, cauliflower cheese, and what was that last one? Cauliflower cheese and Christmas pud. Sounds very nice, very, very, very nice. And then all the trimmings, sounds lovely. Do thoroughly, thoroughly, thoroughly enjoy that. Sounds really nice. I know my daughter-in-law. So I'm doing the saltfish and I'm not doing ackee. I don't mind it, but it's not my favourite. It's not my favourite. And I know my son's not too bothered about it. So I'm just going to do the saltfish and fried dumplings. And then my daughter-in-law, we're going to do, she's doing a roast. She does a roast chicken because, yeah, the kids are more likely to eat that. So basically, she just does a Sunday dinner with a few extra trimmings. So I leave all of that to her. And usually she does like a cheesecake afterwards. And they love their Baileys, so I'm sure there's going to be Baileys and stuff. And then my family, my brothers and sisters, my nieces and nephews, they all gather at somebody's house. But because I want to be with my grandkids, I don't tend to go. But I said this year, depending what time I finish with my grandkids, if I'm still lucid and if I'm not above the limit, then I might drive over and just pop in for an hour. We'll see. We'll see. But so yeah, tomorrow is a busy day for me. But and then Boxing Day, I'm seeing my Polish friend who's celebrating Christmas, having Christmas dinner tonight and chilling out tomorrow. So I'm seeing her on Boxing Day. Yeah. I mean, it's supposed to be a time to relax, but I don't know about you, but it can be quite busy. It can be really busy. And then Saturday, Sunday, I've not got anything planned. So I just plan just to be on my sofa, catching up with some movies. But then I'm back at work on Monday. I don't know why I did that. Don't know why. In my head, I was thinking I'll be well over Christmas and ready to get back to work. But then, having joined this new team, realised that most of the team are not back till the 5th of Jan. So I think there's only three or four of us at work next Monday. And I was like, I don't know why I said I'd go in. Today, might have to just book annual leave Tuesday, Wednesday. We're off Thursday and I'm off Friday anyway, but it's just that first part of the week. I think I'll probably have needed that to recover. Yeah. So guys, have you been watching any movies or any programs? Drop it in the chat and let me know whilst I have them biting my crisps. So the other day, you know, I did my video. Let's see, you're spending. So for some reason, the posts are not flashing up on the screen. Usually they come up. So I'm not sure. So I'm going to have to keep going into it every now and again. So let's have a look. Oh, let's maybe go. Oh, there we go. Live chats. That's it. Oh, Ali, you like cooking? Yeah, I like cooking. Yeah, I like to cook. So Tony, you're spending Christmas with an adult guy with learning difficulties. He lives just down the road from you. Do you know what? That is such a lovely thing to do, Tony. That is so nice and so thoughtful. That's lovely. Because so many people are on their own. And it's nice if you can connect with somebody and, you know, invite them over. What we used to do years ago at my sister's was, it was like, bring a chair. It was, you know, it was open house, bring a chair. And, you know, you would literally just turn up at my sister's house and you'd be eating dinner. We didn't do dinner around the table. There's just too many of us. You know, the food was in the kitchen. You went in the kitchen, you helped yourself, and you just found somewhere to sit, whether it be on the stairs, you know, on the edge of the sofa. You just found somewhere to sit, and it was open house, and it was lovely because, you know, family, friends of friends, you know, if they were on their own, they would just drop in. And I think that's lovely. But I tell you what, guys, I saw the most wonderful post I've seen all year. And it was in my local Facebook group. And somebody made this post, and there must have been about 1,000 people liked this post, including myself, and hundreds of people commented. And I just looked at that and I thought, you know what? It's so easy in our society, in our culture, you know, when there's so many negative and bad things happening and, you know, unscrupulous people around us. And this person put a post out and they said, they explained that this was an appeal to anybody that was on their own or couldn't afford Christmas dinner. And she says, this is just for those, she says, it's not for those who were just like looking for something quick. This is those who would genuinely cannot afford to buy themselves Christmas dinner. And let me tell you, in our community, there's a lot of people like that and a lot of families. And she says, if that's you, she says, just send me a direct message. She says, I don't have a lot of money myself. I'm not wealthy, but I will help out anybody who cannot afford a Christmas dinner this year. She says, you know, if it means you come in and I will give you a Christmas dinner to take home, let me know. Or if you just need, you know, if I can buy you a turkey or a chicken or some veg or something, let me know. And I looked at that and I just thought, you know what? That for me was the most, I was just like, wow. There is just loads of really, really good people around. So I love that, Tony. I love that you were you know, spending time with somebody who probably potentially would be on their own. So I love that. I love that. Yeah, I love that. Um, and Ali, yeah. Oh, Ali, you like my list, the movie list, and you're watching Gavin and Stacey. Yeah. Well, I don't know why my light is gone all a bit dark in here. There we go. So I watched again Come Fly With Me. Is it, I keep calling it Come Fly With Me. It's not called Come Fly With Me. It's called Catch Me If You Can. I watched that again the other night. I really, really like that movie. So I watched that. I did start to watch Peaky Blinders, but I couldn't get into it. And that was just the first episode, season 1, episode 1. I think it's the violence. I don't, yeah, not into violence. And it just felt a bit bleak. It should be called Bleaky Blinders. Yeah, I've given up on that. Just before I came on this live, I was watching Dead Poets Society. That's something that I've dipped in and out of, but never properly watched. So I was watching that. So after this live, I'm gonna get in the bath, get all snuggly and everything, get some food in the air fryer, and then finish off watching that. And then I'll probably watch Les Mis tonight. Yeah, Les Mis. I did look for Last Christmas with Queen Latifah. Sorry, Last Holiday, but it's on Disney, and I'm not paying for Disney. And the other one, Bringing Down the House. Oh my days, love that movie. That's also on Disney, and I thought I'm not paying, you know, a month subscription, you know, on Disney to watch that. But so I'll probably watch Les Mis tonight. Yeah, yeah. Although it is a heartbreak, and I'll probably sob my eyes out going to bed, but I do love that movie. I do love Les Mis. So what else are you guys watching? Drop in the chat box if you're watching anything. If you've got any movies you plan to watch or any programs you plan to watch. The other one that I did start watching again, probably for the 6th time, is The Job Lot. I don't know if you've seen The Job Lot. It's on Netflix, and it is just, it's about life in the job. It's about work coaches in the job centre. And having been a work coach, I resonate with it, and it is just the most funniest thing. Funny. I love that. So I've been watching some of that again. What else have I watched? I wanted my son. I was talking to my son the other day about because my son, you know, I mentioned earlier that a few years ago he wanted a piano, and I got him a piano. Well, we bought him like a upgrade piano. It's like a more of a professional style piano. It wasn't cheap, let me tell you. It wasn't cheap, but it's more of a professional piano. And he practices piano every single day, and he's self-taught. Well, when he set it up yesterday, I was with him, and he played for me, and I was just like absolutely blown away. I was like, I did not know he could play piano at that level. Oh my days. I've said to him that what he needs to do, because like the TV was on and the kids were in the background. So he said what he'll do for me is when he's got a quiet moment, he's going to play a couple of tunes and he'll record them for me, and then I could upload them to my channel, because obviously I've got to show my boy off, you know. I'll upload it, but also in my videos where I cut and I play music, I'm going to use his original work. Honestly, I was just blown away. But years, and he's completely self-taught. He's just learnt it from YouTube. He can read music, and he's just learnt himself the piano. Um, but a few years ago, he taught himself the guitar as well. Yeah, my boy, oh my days, he's so bright. He's honestly, he's so bright. He taught himself the guitar as well, and he can play guitar. And he hasn't played guitar for maybe a couple of years because he's been focusing on learning the piano. But yeah, he can play guitar and um, piano, self-taught completely. I know. And years ago, he wanted to be a pilot, and he actually worked in aviation. But to go to pilot school, it would have cost about 100 grand. And do you know what? It's me boy, it's me only boy. I would have remortgaged my house. Honestly, that's how much I loved him, or love him. Yeah, he's still with us. Absolutely love him. I'd remortgage my house, but it was like, no, mum, no, you can't do that. And then COVID hit, and he was made redundant. So now he's got another job, which I'm super proud of for him. But yeah, anyway, less about my son. Honestly, I can talk about my boy for, for ages. Really, really proud of him. So yeah, so I was talking about movies. So is there any other movies you're going to be watching, guys, over Christmas? Let's see if any other chats have come through. Let's have a look. Oh, so Ali, National Lampoon Christmas Vacation. Do you know what? I think I watched that many, 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 many years ago when it first came out, but I haven't seen it since. I shall probably have to put that on my list and watch that. Yeah. And Horatio, you've been watching a few films and series on Netflix and Disney. The Natural with Robert Redford. It's about baseball. Yeah, chats keep going off. Yeah, it's about baseball. You also like 911. What's your emergency on Disney? Oh, not heard of that. Maybe I should have to get Disney. Might have to just get Disney for a month. Mind you, Christmas is nearly over, isn't it? I only have, by the weekend, and then I'm back at work. Yeah, mate, I'll probably have to take a week, some time off, and just indulge and watch some movies. But yeah, mind you, remember back in the day, I was born in the 60s. Yeah, I don't know when, if you were born around that time, 60s, 70s, you'll probably remember that back in the day, we only had like BBC One and BBC Two and ITV. It was just those three channels. And then I remember in the 80s, then we got Channel 4. And then a few years later, we got Channel 5. And who remembers that? Who remembers the days when we only had 5 channels? So, and you used to get your TV times, and you used to mark it up, and everybody in the family used to mark up what it was that they wanted to watch. And then you'd go to school or you see your friends, and everybody had watched exactly the same thing, because it was like, it was limited. What you could watch was limited because we only had those 4 channels. Who remembers those days? Drop a comment if you remember those days. Yeah, Tony, you remember it well. Yeah, we only had those, and now these days there is so much. Yeah, TV times and the radio times. Yeah. And now we've got so much to watch. You've got the whole Prime. I mean, I've got Amazon Prime, and I completely forgot that I can access Prime movies. Ali, you remember as well, yeah? I forgot that I've got access to Prime and all the movies on there. I've got Netflix. Then you've got all the terrestrial TV, ITV. I don't watch the BBC because I don't have a TV license, and I'm really good. Since I cancelled my TV license, I do not watch it. And some people will cancel but still watch it. But but I don't, because I'm afraid of the knock on the door. So I don't watch the BBC. But I used to love Death in Paradise. That was my thing. I used to love that. Yeah, Horatio, you remember when the TV channels would sign? Yeah, they'd sign off at midnight, and the girl would, the test card used to come on. Yeah, the test card would come on, and you see that, and it would make that buzzing sound. Yeah, but now, you know, we can sit and watch TV all day and all night. And now we can watch it not just on the TV, but on our phones, on our laptops, on our Xboxes and PS10s or whatever it is now. You know, so many on our phone, on our watches. There's so many ways to watch now, you know. But yeah, back in the day, we were all gathered after dinner on a Sunday or Saturday night, and everybody, if you wanted to watch TV, it was whatever your parents was putting on. Yeah. And then my mum and dad used to go up to bed because they used to have to get up really early in the morning for work. So then it was down to my older brothers and sisters, and they was in charge. And back in the day, we didn't even have a remote. You had to physically get up and go and change the channel. And we had one of these TVs, and it was the push buttons. And then you'd be halfway through your program and it would run out because we had to put 50p in the back of the TV. Yeah. Who remembers those days? And then, yeah, Tony, the days when it was black and white. And then it was switched to colour. Yeah. And I remember... let's see what we've got. Yeah, so Ali, you remember, and sign off at midnight. Ali, getting your first colour TV was exciting. Yes, yes. I remember, I distinctly remember, I was at school. I was in secondary school. So I must have been about, I can still remember the conversation with Christina, and so it must have been about 13 or 14. And I remember going to school and bragging that, yeah, we had to colour TV. Yeah, we had to colour TV. And I remember saying, because up until then, we all had black and white TVs, and it was really grainy and everything. And I remember saying, oh, I was watching this programme last night, and, you know, in the movie, you know, she spilt her red wine, and Christina said, well, how do you know it was red wine? I says, well, we've got colour TV, you know, all proud. And she's like, oh. And she didn't believe me, so she had to come round to my house, and I had to put the TV on. Well, not at that particular day, but, you know, a few days later. And she come round to my house, and I could show off my colour TV. Yeah. And it was a thing. It was a thing. You know, you were somebody if you had a colour TV. But we still had to put a meter, 50p in the meter. And we used to get it from Rumbelows. I remember Rumbelows. And I remember going with my parents up to Rumbelows to rent, because at the time we couldn't afford to buy a TV. You had to rent it. You had to put down the deposit, rent it, and then you'd have to put the 50p's in the back of the meter on the TV. And then the guy used to come round on a Friday to collect the money out of the meter. I tell you, the kids these days, I tell you, and my grandsons, they're like watching movies. They lie in bed and watch movies on their phone. And this is my 4-year-old. I tell you, it was a different age, completely different. Let's see what else we've got in chat. So, Tony, you've got an Apple TV. Very posh, very nice. At least, yeah, indeed, it was a way of going to bed on time. Yeah, not at like 2, 3 in the morning. And if you stayed up till like midnight, it was a thing, wasn't it? You was a big man or woman or girl, you know, it was a big thing to stay up till midnight. you know. Yeah, those were the days. Now it's like trying to chase the kids into bed, you know, at like 7 or 8 o'clock they ain't having it. And even then they still go to bed with their phones. Yeah. And Horatio, now we've got more channels than we know what to do with. I know. And do you know what? The other night I was flicking through trying to find something to watch, and I spent at least half an hour just literally flicking through Prime, Netflix, you know, terrestrials, just trying to find something. And then after that, after about half an hour, I was like, oh, I don't know what to watch. So I just thought I'll just go on YouTube and watch something on YouTube. And we've got so much choice. It's like, you know, we just lose the essence of it. Whereas at least back in the day, you had little choice. You were either watching the BBC or the ITV. And then we thought we were made when we had Channel 4 and then ITV and Channel 5. And who remembers Brookside? Remember Brookside? I used to love Brookside. That was the first soap on Channel 4. Yeah, I used to love that. Let me just get me chat. I'm sorry if this screen is wobbling. I'm just trying to get me chat to come back up. And then, yeah, the television companies, rental companies. Rediffusion, yeah. Rediffusion, I remember that. Yeah. And they'd seen that little white dot at the end of the evening. Yeah, I remember that. And in those days during the winter, we used to have power cuts. So there was no TV and we would play cards by candlelight. And we always had like stacks of candles. Because wasn't it in the 70s? I remember in the 70s when there was the coal mining strikes. And you would have power cuts. I used to think it was exciting having power cuts and living by candlelight. I remember like thinking back in the olden days, you used to have like, you know, your candles, but you know, those days are well and truly gone, you know. I bring out these candlesticks and I've got 2 candlesticks on my fireplace and my grandsons are like, Nanny, what are these? I'm like, it's a different age. You know, they used to like the posh candles in big containers and that. I tell you, it's a different age. I tell you, it makes me feel old. Really old. So let's see what else we got. And Tony says, we had push buttons on the front of the televisions. Yeah, you used to have to push them in. And there was no remote control. Now, you knew you made it. And you knew your family made it when you got a remote control. Yeah, colour TV with a remote control. Yeah, you were made. Yeah. And sometimes with our press buttons, it would stick and it was hard to get the button to get the change. And do you remember the aerials? You had to get the aerial. And depending on what you were watching, you'd either have to keep moving it or moving it across the TV or turning it to get the transmission, or you'd have to put it on a shelf, and sometimes because I was the youngest, used to get me standing there holding this aerial. I was like, I ain't having that, you know. But who remembers those days with the aerials? I'm telling you. Oh my days. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, Brookside, you used to watch that every day. Yeah, I used to love Brookside. Oh, I tell you what I watched today as well was Golden Years. It was on my list. And I remember that. And the reason I mentioned it was because Sue Johnson was in Brookside. And she was in the Golden Years as well. She's a fabulous actress. I used to love that. Oh, I used to love that. And there was Jimmy Corkill. He was a brilliant actor. Oh, I really, really loved that show. And then they got rid of it. And then I remember watching El Dorado. That only came on for a short time. And then I remember watching Hollyoaks when that started. And then I sort of went off that. but now, to be fair, I used to only watch Emmerdale and Corrie, but the truth of the matter is I haven't watched it since October. I know, haven't watched it. And like, I keep thinking, even today, as I was flicking through, I was like, should I just catch up? And I thought, nah, it's too much to catch up on, because they're like 35-40 minutes long, and that's a lot of, that's a 2 months worth, no, 3 months worth. I thought, nah. So I think I'm done with Emmerdale and Corrie. Yeah. Yeah. And they used to be like really fun, but now they're quite dark, especially Emmerdale's quite dark. Yeah. So let's see what else we've got. So sorry. Ali loved Brookside and would watch the omnibus on a Saturday. Yeah. Yeah. I used to, and I forget his Damon. Was it Damon? Which was Sue Brooks's son. Used to really fancy him. Fancy him, I really did, with his dark curly hair. Yeah, he was the wayward one, and he would just, be in the soap for a while, and then he'd disappear, and then he'd come back. Yeah, very nice. The aerials had the lots of houses had them nailed on the wall. Yeah, well, we weren't as advanced. We had ours on the TV. It was the one that you had to plug into the back of the TV, and for some shows it was absolutely fine, and then your next show you'd have to keep twiddling it and everything. Yeah, really. Yeah, yeah, those are the days. Those are the days. And it's all changed, and I'm glad it's changed, because I don't fancy standing up, holding the aerial trying to get a signal. No. So yeah. So sometimes I see posts and people say, "Oh, the good old days. I wish we could go back to the good old days." And I'm like, really? Really? What do you think about that, guys? I'm glad we're here where we are, because I remember back in the day, we've got mobile phones now. Everybody's mobile phones is attached to them. It's permanently attached to their hand. Even my grandchildren, they've both got phones. But back in the day, we didn't have phone. Well, I remember when we didn't have a phone in the house, and you had to go to the phone box. And our phone box was, you had to go up the road and down a really long road to get to the phone box. And it would be dark, it would be smelly. I always remember it was smelly, and the glass was always broken, and the phone was a bit rank. And do you remember those phone books, those great big thick phone books? And you'd be thumbing through trying to find, the person you was trying to call. And then you'd have to put your 2p in, and you had that great big dial. Do you remember those days? And yeah, if you needed to call your friend, or for a job interview, or the gas service, or something like that, it was a job. And then I remember when we got our first phone in the house, our house phone, and again it was the old-fashioned with the ring dial and all of that. And I was like, oh, life is a bit easier. We can call people, and we still had the yellow pages and the great big phone books. But now it's all, you've got it in your hand, and you can watch movies, phone your friends, send text messages, do your banking, send emails. You can run your life from that little device in your hand, and I much prefer it. So yeah, I'm not sure about the good old days and going back to those. Yeah, your phone box was your mobile phone. Yeah, indeed. And if a bus or car went past, it would knock the signal off, and everyone in the household used to cuss. Oh, is that the aerial? Yeah, the aerial. Yeah, I tell you, yeah, life has changed, and I'm pleased that it's changed. It's easier. Yeah, it's easier. I remember, when I was growing up and we had the outdoor toilet, and because our house was Victorian, and the Victorians, of course, didn't like toilets inside the house, so we had an outside toilet. It was freezing. And then my dad, he converted one of the bedrooms, and no, he built an extension, and then we had a downstairs toilet and bathroom. We had a downstairs one, and then as my brothers and sisters got older and they moved out, he then converted one of the bedrooms upstairs, and then we had an upstairs bathroom as well, because it was a blessing not using the outside toilet. But then when we had the downstairs bathroom and you needed to use it in the middle of the night and you had to come all the way down no. So I'm glad my dad did that. But yeah, modern living, I value modern living. I really, really do. I really value it. I used to get cross lines on the house phones. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah, because of the transmission, isn't it? Yeah. You was posh if you had an outside area on the chimney or at the side of the house, and they cost a fortune to be installed. Yeah. And I think as life, well, that was 70s, I remember, and then late 70s, 80s, as things advanced, people would get those outside ones. But even then, as you say, Tony, you had to be posh to have one of them. And then, do you remember those satellite dishes when satellite TV came about? And those satellite dishes were like something from outer space, and they were enormous, enormous. Yeah. And I remember first ever seeing one in the house in my area, and it literally took up the back of their yard, the whole of their yard, and you used to walk past and you see this absolutely huge thing that looked like it had come out of space in the garden. And then technology, it got smaller and smaller and smaller, and then we had them just a little dish on the houses. I think I've still got mine. Oh no. Yeah, they were really huge. They were. And I had mine. I did have like a one maybe that size. When I moved into this house in 20 years ago, I had that installed. But then now you don't even have satellite dishes. Those are things of the past. I know, like 20 to 30 years, it's a thing of the past. And now you've got your little modem, and even then the modems used to be quite big. Now it like fits in the palm of your hand, tiny. So yeah, all these advances in technology is really, really good. But then it makes living easier. But also you think about all the advances with medicine, and even GPS that we could use our phones, and all sorts of things. Things have definitely advanced in so many ways. So yeah, I'm really pleased that I'm living now. And I kind of think, even like my grandsons, when they're my age, they'll be looking back and they'll be laughing, and they'll be like, do you remember when we had a mobile phone, and we used to have to scroll through to call somebody? They'll be laughing at that, because technology will advance to something, something crazy. Yeah. And even then, like, you remember the first mobile phones, and they were literally like bricks, and you was a yuppie if you had a mobile phone, and they were great big things. And now everybody's got one. But yeah, in 20 years time, so if I tell my grandchildren that when I was young, we used to have one phone in the house, and you have to sort of dial it. You had your phone books and use the phone boxes, and they look at me and like, Nanny, was that like 500 years ago? And I'm like, yeah, cheeky. I was like, no, that was only like 40 years ago. So now I think when they get to like their 50s, like I am, and they look back and they'll be saying to their kids, yeah, I remember when we used to call people on these devices, or, you know, we had to switch the heating on, or, you know, we used to get in a car and put petrol in it, you know. And even my grandson was like, Nanny, what's that? And why'd you shake it and move it? He's talking about my gear stick in the car, you know. And in 20, 30 years' time, they'll be looking back and be like, Nanny, I remember when you was old, back in the Victorian times, and you used to drive your car and you used to shake that gear stick and move that gear stick. And they'll be laughing at that because they'll have something completely different. Yeah. Tony says, do you remember the phone dial lock? Oh, I used to pick it when your parents was out, and well, you got caught out when the phone bill came and it was itemised. I remember that, Tony. I remember that. It was that little slim cylindrical lock, and they used to put it in that where you put your finger in to dial, and they used to put that in. I remember that. Yeah. Oh my days. Yeah, I remember those days. Oh my goodness. I tell you. Yeah, it's good to look back and have a laugh, isn't it? It really is. It really is. Yeah. Oh dear. Oh, so I've got Betsy sat on the chair in front of me. She follows me everywhere. Yeah. And do you know what? Even then, I remember back in the day, right, there wasn't that advance with science, even with animals and animal food. And my cats growing up, because my parents had a dog and we had a cat, and our cat used to have like cat food, like Whiskers. No, it was kitty cat. It was just like maybe at Christmas or as a treat, but more often than that, they ate what we ate. They ate the leftovers, and they used to, and you know that whole thing where you see on Ben and Tom and Jerry, where you give the cat a saucer of milk or a saucer of cream. Well, we used to do that, and our cat had the worst diarrhea. Oh my days. Because now we know that cats are lactose intolerant. We know that now. We didn't know that in the 70s when we were giving the cat milk after she'd had Saturday soup or had some rice and peas or something like that. Oh my days. I look back now and I'm like, yeah. But yeah, so Betsy will try and have milk or cream or cheese or anything like that, because she's a gannet, you know. She'll try and eat anything and everything. This evening, I had a glass of rum and coke, and she was sniffing around it. I was on my coffee table, and next thing I knew, she knocked it over. And she was like, well, if I can't have any of that, you're not going to have it. And she knocked it over. It went all over my floor. And I was like, yeah, she's trying to get it. Honestly, she's terrible. She's absolutely terrible trying to get things. But you know what? I'm glad that she's like that, because I know that she's much better. I sent an email of complaint, because if you've been following me, you know that, you know, I didn't like the way the vets treated her the other day. So I sent a letter of complaint to them. So we'll see what they say when they come back. Yeah. Anyway, guys, we've been here an hour, and I think I'm going to go and finish off my crisps, because my crisps are sitting here looking at me saying, why haven't you eaten me? And Betsy's been trying to get them as well. So I need to get this all finished. So what are you up to this evening, guys? What are you up to? Do drop it in the comments. I'm gonna go and have a nice bath. Yeah, I'm still in my gym clothes. Yeah, I've got like my gym outfit on from today. So I'm gonna go and have a nice bath. Um, I'm gonna come back down because I haven't got a TV in my room anymore. I got rid of it earlier in this year. So if I want to watch TV, I've got to watch it on down here. I could watch it on my phone in bed, but after 5 minutes I've fallen asleep. I don't want to do that. So I'll have a nice bath. I'll come down here. I'll get the electric blanket on and my hot water bottle, which I've got here on my lap. And I'm going to put something nice in. I did eat today. I had some rice and peas and leftover rice and peas and curry goat. And I had that when I got in about 1:30. So I'm going to go and find something. Normally I don't eat this late, but I think I need to. Because that was the only thing I've eaten today, apart from these crisps. So I'm going to go and find something really nice to eat. Do you know what I'm going to have? Do you know what? I think I might have some of those salt and vinegar chips that I've been raving about for the longest time. When I do my little shopping haul, might have a few of those, and I've got some those deluxe fish fingers. So yeah, I think I might do that. Yeah, I think I might have that. Yeah, because I know that if I don't eat, especially when I've been drinking alcohol, I won't just stop at these. I'll munch through most of the bag of crisps, and I don't want to do that because these are what we call slider foods. Your body, there's nothing to digest, so these will go straight through. So I can eat a load of these, and I will just be. And when I drink alcohol, the sugar, must be the sugar content, just makes me hungry. So I'm gonna eat something proper. And then I'll probably still finish these, but I know that I'll have that and that's it, job done. And then I'll just watch. I'll have these whilst I'm watching my movie. Yeah, I do have a video that I'm uploading for tomorrow. What it is, I'm going through all my recent lives, my Sunday lives, and I'm editing them, and then I will upload them. So there will still be content tomorrow. Because for some people, it's just a regular day. Do you know what I mean? And then I want to just keep my daily videos going till the end of December, right through to New Year. And we'll probably do this again on New Year's Eve. Yeah, if you guys have enjoyed it, let me know. And we'll do another live on New Year's Eve. I will definitely be doing another, maybe, we'll definitely do another Zoom in our membership. Definitely. Maybe on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday before New Year's. Yeah, we'll definitely do that, guy. Because I love that. I love that. And I loved our last conversation. Just like, I loved it, So I will do that. And then I'm going to do some videos around, getting off to a good start in 2025. So, because I realise that not everybody's like me, because for me, New Year, I don't have the right New Year fresh start, new me, new body, new goals. I don't have that. I haven't had that for a long time. For me, it's just carry on as normal. Yeah, because I've got my habits in place and I manage my habits. And even whilst I'm having my alcohol and my stacks, I'm still managing them. But I realise not everybody's like me, and I realise some people have completely pushed the boat out, which is fine. You do you. Yeah, no judgment. And want a fresh start in January. And I know that some people are right, it's a new year. I'm going to get going with my weight loss journey. So in the new year, so I recognize that. So that's what I'm going to be doing in January. We're going to do a lot of videos and stuff around helping people get off to a fresh start in January, a new start. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing that. So yeah, lots to come in 2026. I know. Yeah, exciting. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to do, guys, this evening. Bath, get on the sofa, have something to eat, watch a movie, and then yeah, see where the night takes me. I say that like it's something exciting. No, it's only gonna take me on the sofa and then up into my bed. That's the only place it's gonna take me. But yeah, we'll see. Make the most of it. Yeah. But and then Christmas Day tomorrow. Yeah. I am looking forward to it. Not because it's Christmas, but it's because I'm spending it with my grandkids and they are super excited. I popped in today to see them and I took them their Christmas Eve pajamas because Nanny always buys them Christmas Eve pajamas. That's my tradition. So I bought them Christmas Eve pajamas. So I dropped them in for them and then they had a lovely bath and got into their pajamas and then their mom, my daughter-in-law, took photographs and sent them to me of the boys in their Christmas pajamas and I'm like, oh. So they're probably tucked up in bed or getting ready to get into bed now. So they are super excited. So I'm excited to be with them tomorrow. Yeah, make loads of memories. I take tons and tons and tons of photographs. So yeah, so got that, and then see my friend on Boxing Day, and then trying to recover at the weekend. But guys, whatever you do, whatever you are doing, have a fabulous one. Yeah, have a fabulous one. And do you know what? I was thinking about this. I'm not promising, I'm not making any promises, but depending how my day goes, if I'm back early tomorrow evening and if I've got any energy, I might just come and do a quick live with you guys. I might do, see how I feel, but I'm not committing to it because my plans might change, but I might do. So watch this space, look out on the Facebook page and also on the community page because I'll let you know if I'm going to do that. Anyway, guys, whatever you do, have a fabulous Christmas Eve. Enjoy the rest of the evening and have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas Day. Merry Christmas, guys. This is to you. Take care, guys. Bye.